So, hello everybody. I hope it's okay for you that I give this talk in English. So, someone has problem with English? Okay, good. So, welcome to my talk, A Guide to the Shell Galaxy. I will give you an introduction how I work with Shell. So, I'm not a profi, but I like to be on the Shell. So maybe you find some tools and some hints that can help you on your work. But before we start, I was asked to share you a link. So if you have questions, please go to this to the site and ask your questions. It's okay for me when you would ask in German, so I understand German, so this should not be the problem. So, about me. I'm a freelance Java developer, so my main topics are in backend development and with software craftsmanship. But I also work with automation, so if you need some help with CI/CD, DevOps and something like that, I can help you. When I'm not working on project, I give trainings, workshop. I'm involved on some conferences. So if you search after me in the internet, you will find some links. So you, and give some, write some blog posts, make a podcast and so on. So maybe some words to my motivation for these talks. Before Corona, I was involved in Softwarekammerruhrgebiet. It's a software craftsmanship community in Dortmund, Bochum area. And on Christmas time, we make a special session about show me your favorite tool. And there was many shell tools that I tried on my work and it works very, very good for me. So I like to share this with you. I like to working in pair programming sessions or mob programming. And why? Because the experience is very cool. When some colleague shows you a tool that he or she is using, so you can share experience and find new way how to work. And last but not least, thanks to Martin Meyer. I think in Germany and Austria he is very common. He makes on Computer Chaos Clubs conferences many talks about CLI tools, and it's every time I can pick a new one to have a look in it. So maybe some words of my background. Then you will understand why I use these tools and not another ones. I'm a Java programming guy, but sometimes I program in Groovy and Kotlin. Very rarely on Golang or JavaScript. For me, JavaScript, for example, is like sometimes I think I'm not good in programming when I try to use JavaScript. So my main language is Java, but I think it's okay because we are on a Java conference. So when I use operation system, I like to use Linux. So Linux people here? Okay, thanks. Sometimes I have to use Windows. In my current project, I have to use a Windows without Windows Linux subsystem. It's possible, but yeah, it's very hard. Some Windows people here? Also, I hope you can use a Linux subsystem, so this talk will help you. I don't know Mac very good. I only know Mac from pair programming session when my colleagues is using that. So next question, some Mac people here? Okay, so I think when I working on DevOps sites, I'm using often Kubernetes or Docker as platforms. So this is the reason why I will find some Kubernetes tools. So the plan for today. I will give you an introduction to terminals and shells, and then when we have enough time, I will give you a short overview of CI tools that I'm using and give you some demos and explain you why I like to use it. So before we start, these slides are on a terminal because I use a special tool for that. I write only a markdown files and say slides, and now he's prompt on my terminal. So this is, I think, this is a cool tool for a shell talk. So before we start, maybe we have to find some definition. Some people are talking about terminals and shells, but sometimes they think there's the same thing, but they're not. So a terminal is the user interface where you can put some text on it, and this is your interface with the computer. A shell for on the other side is the interpreter. So when you give some input in the terminal, he's sending to the shell, and the shell can interpret what he should do. So when a command is run on a shell, but using the interface, the terminal. So maybe some overview of terminals. My current favorite is Ghosty. That's what you can see in here. Why? It's very fast, and this has native support for Windows and Mac, and it looks very good. It's and I have all features what I mean. For example, I can open a new tab. I can split my screen right down, so and can make the configuration in a text file. So so this is what I'd like to work with that. But when you don't want to use Ghosty, there are some other one. For example, I like to work on Linux on the KDE, so the console is the default one. This was my default terminal before Ghosty. So, and you can see that it had everything what I mean. I can split my screen, I can have new tabs, and you can and it's very good integrated to the KDE system. And that's on the other side a problem of that, because when you don't use a KDE Windows Manager or you are using Nomus or something like that, and you want to install console on it, he will download half of KDE also. So I like to use on other Linux system, for example, techies. So techies have the same feature like console, but he's very small in the installation. So if you're using another Windows Manager on Linux, techies is a very good point to use it. But not everybody is using Linux. We have some Mac people here. I think the default terminal on Mac is item 2. So question to you, to the Mac people, item 2, do you have installed item 2? Yeah. This, why I say to here, Mac people say to me, when they're using terminal on Mac, item 2 is the one they are choosing one. Maybe Ghosty will be more popular on Mac, but that's what I see. But on the other side, 2 years ago or during Corona, there are other terminals come up, like Warp. Warp is one of the fancy one. Why is it fancy? Because he have AI integration. Everybody want to use AI, so they make a terminal with AI support. I'm not using it because not with AI, because I have to give my data, privacy data, to install on my machine, and for a specific feature they want to have some pricing license for that. So, but maybe for you it's a good terminal, but for me it's like, okay, it's look very nice, but I don't need it. So the other one is Hyper. It's written in JavaScript, so you can write your own plugins in JavaScript. So if you're a good one in HTML, CSS, JavaScript, maybe Hyper would be the terminal for you, because you can extend it like you want. And this looks very nice. The other point is with Hyper and Warp is they have support for Windows. So if you want to use a terminal on Windows, one of them could be something for you. So the next one is shells, because it's nice that I have now an interface, but I have to something that can interpret my commands. So we need shells. And standard on many systems are bash. And similar to bash, Z shell. For example, Mac was changed the standard shell from bash to Z shell. So I will say it's not so much a difference, but yeah, there are two kinds of it. Some people like to use fish shell. It's they say, okay, it's a command line for the 90s, because bash and jet shell, they are older than fish shell. But the interpretation of the commands are in fish shell a little bit different. So so you will have some problems when you write a script for bash, that it's not working smoothly on fish. So, but on the other side, fish brings some features what is not common in bash or in Z shell. But my favorite shell is Z shell. Because why? When I started working on the shell, it was a bash, because bash was the standard one. And then I find the framework omite shell. I will show you later on, that makes configuration of my shell very smoothly. So this was the reason why I switched from Z shell to from bash to Z shell. And the switch was very easy for me, because all my scripts that was working on bash, they work on Z shell. This is not a common pattern. There are some cases, edge cases, where the script is not working on Z shell when it's for bash. But in my common work, I don't have a problem with that. So that's the reason why I switched to Z shell. And why omite Z shell is so popular? Because when you go on the website, there are many plugins and alias that you don't have to configure by your own. Some other people do it for you. So this is a collection of configuration of your shell. When you look at here, that for every tool that you know it, that's very common. There are some plugins for that the work is very smoothly on it. So and then the next one, there are some shortcuts and some themes. Themes, why is very important? When you many people want to customize the shell, because to have not have the customizers like when you are car friends, you customize your car or your garden and so on, and the same are in the IT. Everybody wants to have a special shell, so you have some bundle on it. You can configure in your in a Z shell. There are some bundle themes there. So one is this agnostic or simple. There are some other ones. So when you look at the website, you can find for every experience a good theme. And some teams had more information, some teams had less information about when you're working with Git, so you have some Git information, time, so you can customize like you want. When it's not enough, maybe you want to have more themes. There are also a community there, like Awesomeness, where we can find other plugins. So I think for everyone is something there. My favorite theme is Spaceship. It's not only for Z shell, as you can use it for PowerShell, for Bash, or something else. And why I like to use Spaceship, it's because he gives me many information out of the box when I'm using it. For example, when I am in a Git repository, I can see on a header on which branch I am, which tooling I'm using, and which version. For me, that's important because when I'm switching between projects, for me it's important to see which Java version I'm using. And so this themes give me all information on a headliner what I need. So the next point why I like to use my Z shell is that I have some shortcuts. They're predefined. Of course, you can do it by your own. But the good thing is when you're on 4-inch computers and you have to reinstall it, or using other prompt, you can use the predefined shortcuts. For example, I have to change my my directory. Normally, I have to write cd and then the directory names. And for example, and go back is like cd, but I can go some dots and I have the same effects. It's the same like when I have to only to write the directory name. He is directly jumping to the right directory. Next one, I have shortcuts like ll. Let's here. So they have a full information about my files, and in the past I have to define the alias for myself or to recognize the flags what I should use. So this is like a tray to make not so much typing on my shell. The next one is that I have some plugins that can I install on my framework. So I have only to configure my configuration of my Z shell configuration file to put in there, and then I can use it. There are some bundle plugins like Git or Jump, or there are some other external plugins like Z shell autosuggestion, so on. So what I like to show you my favorite one and one external plugin. So for example, Jump. Why is Jump nice? When I'm using Jump, I can say, okay, I want to mark a special directory. For example, I go to samples and I say mark test. So he asked me if I want to have a new label for that. Yes. And then I go to another one directory, like my home directory. And now when I jumped to test, he go to the directory where I set the mark. And I can give me a list which mark I have, and of course I can disable this mark also. Yes, I want. So this is a possibility to change directory very fast. The next one is set. So for example, I know, okay, I have to jump in a directory, but I don't know the full path, but I know some words on that. For example, my project is called Hero Demo, and I only know that it was Hero, but I don't know where it is. So I can say, hey, Hero, and he will jump to the right directory. And I can ask him, hey, which one do you have? And maybe I have many directory with the name hero, and I don't know which kind of I have to want to jump, so I can make with tab choosing one which I can help me to go there. So this is how it's working in the background. Every time when you change the directory, there's in background the history files, and this set is looking on this history file which path I was using, and the most one is choosing when I typing set. And the next one what I liked to use is the auto suggestion. Maybe you see it already here. For example, I use a SSH command, and I forget the whole command what I should do. So I can start to typing, and he is choosing the one what I used the last one. So I can with the an auto complete it when I say okay, it's okay for me. So I can choose to find out which command I want to use. When the first one is not the right one, I can go to my list in my history, and he will suggest me the last one with the word with the text what I put it on my shell. And now I was using the prefix, but maybe I want to have something inside, and I can go to my list and find the right command only for with typing. So the next one, what I liked to use it with my set shell are the alias for Git. There are some predefined, like I don't like to type the whole command, so maybe I can only say gp for git push, or when I want to pull, I can put it gl, and I don't need to make the whole command. When you have to write some git commit, normally you have to write git commit and with the message. It's very long. So for example, you can make a shortcut and say only git cmsg and write a command in this way. The same are for other tools, like for Maven or kubectl. So someone wants to make a compile on this project and write Maven clean verify. It's very long. Okay, with the auto suggestion, it's maybe it's shorter, but you can also only write Maven clean verify in a short one, and then it's also working. The same is when you have some kubectl. And okay, there are some shortcuts with kubectl, but you can go it more shorter, like kubectl get pods. You can write only this one, and I have the same effects. So okay, of course you have to train your muscle brain, but I think then you are very fast when you're using them. So this is the reason why I like to use set shell. There are other frameworks nowadays for Bash also, and I think Bash already there. My Fish is also, and I think for the Windows people, when you're working on PowerShell, I think there's a framework also calling my PowerShell, like a surprise. So coming to my daily work, when I say I'm a Java developer, so in my daily business I have to install some Java tools. And sometimes I have to work in the front end, so I have to manage my Node.js version. For that, I have a management tool. The first one is SDKman. With this, I can manage my my tools for the Java ecosystem. So when I can say, hey, please list me all tools what I can install with you. So I have all tools like Arndt. Someone using Arndt? No. Oh, sometimes there are some reasons why to do it. And there are some tools where I don't know it, like Ballerina, but it's in this list because it's a Java written tool. So now I decided that I want to install Maven. I asked him, hey, which kind of Maven version you have? And the cool thing is, I have an overview which Maven version are available over SDKman. For example, the release candidate for the 4. And with the star, I can see, okay, this is the version what I already installed on my machine. And with the arrow, I can see which Maven version I currently using one. So I want that he should use 363. I think so the right one. Oh, 396. Sorry. So I can say SDK use Maven 396, and then he's switching the Maven version on my shell. So when I like to use every time the same Maven version in my project, I have the possibility to say env-init. Then he is creating SDK-min-rc a file. So if I look on it, I can see it that it's the default, the default Java version what I'm currently using it. And why is this nice? Because when I go outside and set my Java version to 21, and now I'm going to my repository again, SDKman can recognize that it's a RC file. He reading this RC file and change my Java version to the right point. So for me, it's a nice feature. Of course, not everybody in your team would start to use SDKman, but on the other side, you have a possibility to make some documentation about the version which you are using. So the same I can do it with Node version manager. It's the same thing, but for the Node. So I have the possibility to install the version, to say which version I want to use on this path, and I can give some alias when I say, okay, my default is the 8.1, so I can mark or set some shortcuts by my own. So the next point is I want to share with you some tools for development, what I like to use in my daily work. And the first one is a tool about system information. Why is it important? Sometimes when you open a bug, you have to put your system information into this bug report. And on Linux system, it's sometimes very tricky, or not very tricky, but I forget how to find out my systems. And for me, it's very easy to say one fetch, no, not fast fetch, sorry. And I have an overview about my system. And then I can copy this information what I need. Sometimes it's important which kernel version I'm using or with operation system. And I have other ones like CPU and which local I'm currently using it. The same thing I have for Git repositories. When I coming new to a project, I like to have some statistic about this Git project. And what I see with the system information, I can doing also with a Git repository. So it's calling onefetch. And I have an overview about the project, like which language are you using, which are the authors, what's the last changes, and which files are often changes, and so on. But sometimes this information is not enough. Of course, when you have a Sonar cube in your project, that you can on a Sonar cube and it will have the same information, but sometimes it's faster to do it on the command line. But this are not enough. Maybe you want to have some countings about lines. So there's another one calling clock, and he's give me information about a project. You see that's a big one, so it needs some time. And he's counting how many files I have, how many lines are on that, which language are used, how many comments are inside. So you get some feelings about the project. And sometimes in your projects, when your projects are old, legacy, there are some people in your team, they like to rewrite it. Do you know it? This situation, everybody want to rewrite the software, not to maintenance. I say no problem, but then you need money for that. And there's other tool calling SCC. It gives some estimation about the costs, or how many costs it will be have when I have to rewrite this whole project. Okay, this is something like the play tool, but I know with this kind of tool, I can end this discussion very fast. Of course, with AI, it's very easy to rewrite it, but this will be another talk. So sometimes you want to have a look on a specific file and don't want to open it in your text editor or your IntelliJ. Normally, you're using cat for that, but cat has the problem that has no syntax highlighting. So I can open my POM XML, for example. Here's not one, but here. Yeah, without syntax highlighting, it could be very hard for that. So there's another one calling bat. I have to typing batcat because I'm on Ubuntu one, and in Ubuntu, bat is another tool on Ubuntu, so I can put it batcat, and now I have syntax highlighting. It's very hard to read because I have a theme that is the default theme of bat is for dark mode, but I have a Solaris mode here, but that's not a problem. I can say, please change the theme for that, and now I can open it again, and I have my syntax highlighting. And this is when I only have to look on it very fast, and cat is too not good enough because I missed the syntax highlighting. Bat is a cool tool for that. But sometimes I have to edit some text files. And I liked to work on the shell, but I'm not a Vim person. I cannot Vim. Nano is okay for me, but I always have to need a cheat sheet for then. Emacs is too complicated also for me, so I need another one. Who in this crowd knows Vim and is using it? Yeah, you're lucky guys. You know it. You're smarter than me. But there are some other people that have the same, they think the same like me. So they make a new one. It's called Micro. And Micro is very cool because it's in a shell, but I can use it like a modern text editor. So I can mark something here and copy that and copy like I'm working on a normal IntelliJ or normal text editor. And for me, it's good enough. Of course, the real shell persons would you choose Vim or something like that, but for me, it's enough. And I can quit it, and like I'm working on a normal text editor. The next one, what I like to use is watch. It's a built-in Linux command, so you have not to install by yourself. It's coming with your system. And why it's cool, I can say watch and then my commands, and he's grabbing in every 2 seconds and show me the difference with the commands, something like that. The use case is like you make a deployment and want to have a look of everything is right. You put every 2 seconds the same command in your shell, and watch is doing for you this job. The next one, what I like to use is when your program needs many system resources, you're normally using top for that. Nowadays there are modern one like hardtop or atop, and this tool is giving you more information about your system. Nope. Sorry. So you have more information of that. Of course, that's sometimes there are too many information. But when you're searching for something, you can find here. And the same one is for hardtop. It's look more clearly for me, and it's easier for me to navigate it on that side. The next tool what I like to show you is HTTP. I know the standard or the default tool working with URLs or downloading is curl or wget. My problem with curl and wget is I forget what the flags are meaning, and it's not intuitive for me. So I look for another one, and I find with the HTTP, and why is very good to use. I can write only HTTP get and my URL, and it's on. I give everything what I need. In curl or wget, I have to look in the documentation, find out which flag I want to use it, and this is not needed here because when you look, because this tooling is giving you the whole header and all information what you need. Of course, you can download the REST resource here. So I drop writing output and my file, and he will download it. So and for me, it's when I have to, working with the REST APIs, it's very faster for me to go coming to my goal. The next area or use case that I have on the shell is when I have to search for specific files. Normally you would find or grep, and here's the same problem what I have. I forget the flags what I have to use with grep to coming to my right place. And very often I'm working with source code, and so the question is, why I'm not using a tool that is specific for this use case that have a grep for source code. And for me, it's a silver searcher. And I can see, okay, give me everything where the name hero is there. Then he gives me overview with the path in which files it is, and which location. And the problem here is that I will have texts, HTML, XML, or Java. So I can say, okay, please reduce the searching only for Java files. So I can say, give the flag Java, and he will give me only the Java files for that. There are other ones like XML. Then I have only the XML files, and other ones also. And of course here I can say, okay, I only need the location, so I can reduce my output. When you're looking in the internet, there are many other findings tools, but for me, it's a tool that I'm using as a daily driver because I need to very often only this use case. I want to search in on the project, on source code. Of course, when you have IntelliJ open, you will do it in IntelliJ. The find feature is very good there, but sometimes you don't want to open a big project, and then you will be faster on the shell. The next one is what I like to show you is a JSON processor. Because sometimes you have big JSON files and you have to find a specific values of that. And for example, you have this file. It's not very good to read. So the first one could be that I say, okay, do it, and oh, not this one, sorry. I want to format it, so I can say to JQ, okay, please take this input and make a good format of it. And then I can start to search on it. So I know that I want to only have the results. And now I have a list of starships. And maybe I want only have the name of it. So I can go there and say, okay, I know this is a result, there's an array, and want the name of it. And I can now reduce the information of this file on the specific area what I want. So the same thing I can do with YAMLs. So there's a YAML processor also. It's similar to JQ. And when you install it, you will see that it's a wrapper on JQ only for YAML. So the syntax will be the same on the side. The next one, there's sorter. When you have many results on that, maybe I can only demonstrate. I see that I'm running out of time. So so I have a people list and with a gender, and I want to make a sort of it. I can sort it for the in a specific order, and I can make a second pipe after that, a unique. Then I say, okay, please reduce this one and count how many values are in this list. So because I'm a little bit run of time, I think we will overjump the container tools. So thank you very much to coming to my talk, and maybe we have some questions. Okay, the slides are on my GitHub profile, so I can show you the link for that site. Here, when you're going to GitHub as Parsick shell talk, you can find the shell and all the tool. So, there's a place where you can information. Yes, Time Windows Manager, I started to using it. KDE is now giving one. I can, I'm very beginner in this game of Time Manager. So I know there are some people, they configure the whole system. When they start the system, everything is fine, but I'm use only the default one, what is KDE is coming. It's working with the, yes, you have to, HTTP, you have to give the flag that he is, ignore the header, and then you can pipe to the JQ, and you using it for how you know it from the pipe. So I hope they are all. So you can ask me after the talk. I think I'm 1-2 hours on the conference. So or ask me on the social media. So thank you for your coming.